Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to No Static Radio, where we don't bring the static, but we sure don't bring the noise. You are now listening to The Right Side. I am your host, Jeff Doggett, coming to you on the greatest station in the nation, from the greatest location in the nation. Shout out to everybody listening to us all the way from Kennebunkport, Maine to Key West, Florida, from Staten Island, New York to Stockton, California, and all the points in between. For those of you that are listening to us around the world, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whichever greeting best suits the time zone that you're in. There are several things that you can do to help stop the spread of respiratory diseases such as COVID-19. Number one, cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Now, I know that sounds like common sense, but of course we know that the least common thing around these days is common sense, right? So please cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Number two, wash your hands. Every time you come in from outside, please wash your hands. And also, you might want to mix in some hand sanitizer in your car so that when you go to the gas station, you can use a hand sanitizer because after all, you don't know who's been touching that pump. Number three, please, 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 I know I'm sounding like James Brown here, but please, 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 please stay away from people who are sick. And also, by the way, when you are sick, please stay at home. Stop trying to be a hero or a heroine by going into work when you are sick knowing that you're not feeling well. Stay at home. Number four, please wipe down frequently touched objects and items. Mix in some Clorox wipes or whatever you want to use disinfectant to disinfect these areas, especially your computer keyboards and things of that nature, your cell phone, stuff that you use all the time. Also, please, folks, when you're in an enclosed area, please wear your mask and please still maintain the 6 feet distance. I know that we're coming out of this, but we're really not. So continue to observe those things that you observed this time last year. And if you haven't got the vaccine already, listen, I'm not one to tell adults what to do, but all I'm saying to you is, please, if you haven't got the vaccine, strongly consider getting it, and don't listen to the lies that are perpetrated where it's that you hear out here, like if you get the vaccine, magnetized objects are going to stick to you, or if you get the vaccine, that it's the mark of the beast. I've heard that one. If you get the vaccine, despite what Nicki Minaj said, guys, it's not going to make you impotent. All right. So get this vaccine. The quicker that we get vaccinated, the quicker that we'll start to see these numbers drop. We're up to almost 700,000 people that have died and counting. So please, if you can do all those things, please do these. And this was brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters in this station, No Static Radio, where we don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise, powered by Google. Also, if you are in the Cleveland area, on the first and third Saturday of each month, so if you missed it today, you're going to have to wait until the first Saturday of October to take advantage of it. At 6812 Woodland Avenue, guess what they are doing on a weekly basis? What they are doing is they are giving away free groceries. Now listen, this giveaway is every first and third Saturday of the month from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they're giving these free groceries away, and this is what you do not have to do. You do not have to show proof of income. You do not have to show an EBT card. You don't even have to show proof of residence. The only thing you have to show is up in that you show up. But not only that, not only are they giving away free groceries, but they are also giving away free clothing. That's right, free clothing for adults and children. So that means you can get free clothing for yourself, and you can get free clothing for little Kiki and Ray Ray and Pookie and Dim. All of those you can get free clothing for. And that would be great, folks, if it stopped there. But it doesn't stop there, because from 11:30 to 1:30, they are giving away a free hot lunch. And listen, this is church folks cooking this, so you know the food is good. And this is at 6812 Woodland Avenue, every first and third Saturday of the month in Cleveland, Ohio, between those hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And this is done by the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, by Williams Temple Church of God in Christ, and other entities as well. And so we want to continue to shout them out and continue to just commend them for a job well done. So, those of you that are new to the show, where have you been? No, I'm just teasing, but those of you that are new to this show and even regular listeners, you know what we do. We talk sports, we talk politics, we talk the issues of the day. I throw out my takes and I give you the opportunity to call in with your takes on those topics at 216-939-5087. 216-939-5087. Now, those of you the regular listeners to the show know that we've been going pretty heavy topics here the last few weeks or so, from racial reconciliation that we did last week, the entire program, mayoral candidates, social issues, and what have you. But we also, as I said, talk sports as well. And today, we are going to do the entire program, and we're doing a football roundtable today. We're going to talk about the NFL, and we're going to look at college as well. And I am privileged to have in studio with me three distinguished guests, two of which you probably heard a lot of. If you listen to sports talk radio in the Cleveland area, you've heard a lot of two of my guests. And my other guest, although you don't hear him a lot on the radio, he's very knowledgeable, and I've known him for almost a lifetime. So I'm going to introduce my guest. We are glad to have in studio with us Hiram Boyd, Always Positive Jay, and Paul Red. Guys, welcome to the No Static Radio, and welcome to the Right Side. We're so glad to have you all.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So glad to have you as well. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let each one of these guys introduce themselves, tell you all a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to get right into it. And again, if you want to call in and weigh in on anything that we're talking about today, you can get us at 216-939-5087, 216-939-5087. So I tell you what, I'm going to start to my left and go around the table. So Hiram, who is Hiram Boyd? Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Hiram Boyd. I grew up in Cleveland, just outside of Cleveland at times. I moved around. Graduated from Shaw High School. Went away to school. Then came back home. I worked at Doggett for a long time. And branched out, went into geology. That's what I did, and I've been doing that ever since.
Okay, whoever the caller was, give us about 5 more minutes and you can call back. Shaw High School, my wife would like that. She's a Shaw High graduate as well. So somewhere I hear her saying Shaw High. So good. Okay, Always Positive Jay. Who was Always Positive Jay?
Originally from Slavic Village, graduated from North Brooklyn High School, reside in Garfield now. Most of you guys know me originally as a caller from RBS on 850 AM. And now I'm taking over for Nick Paulus on the Voice of the Land is for the post-game show for the Browns.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's a move up from caller to host. Way to go. Kudos to you. And sitting directly across from me, and those of you that are looking at us on Facebook Live, especially you Browns fans, please don't hate on my guest that's sitting across from me that has his Steelers cap on, which I'll let him tell you why he has it on. I know why, but I'm sure in his introduction of himself, Paul Red will tell us about himself and why he is representing the Steelers today.
Unlike you, distinguished gentlemen, I was born in Pittsburgh, but I've lived here in Cleveland over 50 years plus. So I was originally indoctrinated to the Steelers by my dad, even though I had a Hall of Famer, Paul Warfield, in our family. My dad was the only Steelers fan. So we moved here in '69, I do believe, and that was unfortunately the year they traded him. And
yes, very unfortunate.
I know, but he got Mike Phipps and all that other good stuff. So once they traded him, I started asking my dad, what's this Steelers stuff? So we were looking at the Dolphins and started following, and unfortunately for the rest of the AFC, that's when they got Bradshaw and Joe Green and all the rest of the fellas that have gone on and created history for the city of Pittsburgh. So, but I cannot just say, I'm just not a Browns fan. I lived and died with those guys, Red Right 88, Bernie and the boys. You know, all those, you know, and that was the thing. The Browns fans, the Browns teams and the Cleveland teams, they tear your heart out.
Yes, they do. Because I was at Red right now.
Yes, so was I.
Living here so long, you had to gain so many Browns fans. You kind of had to feel bad for them, too.
No, yes, totally. But, you know, Steelers are first, the Browns are second.
It's usually how all my friends that are Steeler fans are. They're like, you know, we want you guys to be better.
Exactly. We missed the rival.
We don't want to lose to you, but we'd like you guys to be better.
But
and now that we're better,
but yeah, it's a highly anticipated year this year.
Right.
About 40 years now.
And let me, I'm just going to jump on that because I got a Brown Steelers Paul Warfield story all wrapped in one related to what you just said, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, before I say that, Paul, I know you went to college. Where
I
did you go to
I
school?
went to Warren. I graduated from Warrensville. Then I came down there. That's where we were down there at Ohio State.
Oh, you went to the Ohio State?
The
Okay.
Ohio State. Yes.
I knew that. I just wanted him to say that. But when Paul was talking about Paul Warfield and being related to him and the Steelers, I've got a story that's wrapped around both of them. During the Steelers' heyday in the 70s, when they were on their Super Bowl run, winning 4 Super Bowls during the 70s, in the old Cleveland Stadium, when the Browns and Steelers would play, of course, there would be a lot of people that would bus over from Pittsburgh because it wasn't that far to come over. So it wasn't the dog pound then, but you know we were sitting in the bleachers, in the auxiliary bleachers at that time, and there was a Steeler fan there, and the female, and she got up, and she said, stood up and turned around. She said, "Mean Joe Green told me to tell all you Cleveland fans that the Steelers are going to kick your ass today." Then she sat back down. Then about 5 minutes later, she stood up again and she said, "And who is this Paul Warfield? All this talk about this Paul Warfield. Who is this Paul Warfield? I never heard of him. He's not that good." Well, as soon as she sat down, Brian Sight was the Browns quarterback then. He threw a pass to Paul Warfield where Paul Warfield went up in between 2 Steeler defenders and made the spectacular catch. This was Warfield's second go around here with the Browns. And he made this spectacular catch that really only he could do. And so my mother was at the game with me, and she reached down and tapped the lady on the shoulder and said, "Ma'am, that's Paul Warfield." So
That's right.
that was, every time I think about that, that's a pretty funny story. And to that point, and you know, not to talk too much about that era because we're going to talk about today, but you know, as a Browns fan, I have to give it up. In my lifetime, the greatest draft that any team ever had was the Steelers draft in 1974. When you think about that year, Pittsburgh drafted Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, Mike Webster, Jack Lambert, and they had an undrafted free agent that made the team that same year by the name of Donnie Shell. Now, of course, what do all those
damn good class.
Yeah.
Wow.
The greatest.
what all those guys have in common, of course, when Donnie Shell went into the Hall of Fame this year, all of those guys were rookies the same year, and they were all in the Hall of Fame. So even though, you know, it just burned me every year and I couldn't stand it, I had to give the credit where the credit is due. So what we're going to do today, folks, those of you that are listening and you want to call in, we're going to do this. As I said, we're going to do just a round table. We're going to talk some NFL, we're going to talk some college, and give our opinions on the various topics regarding it. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is I want to look at the AFC North. Of course, that's the division that is most important to all of us around this table here because that's the division that our teams are in. And so I look at it, and the first thing I want to look at the Ravens. And when I look at the Ravens this year, the question I have to ask myself, and I'm curious to get you guys' take on this, is with the injuries to Marcus Peters, to J.K. Dobbins, to their offensive line with Staley, and of course they lost Zeus Brown Jr. to the Chiefs in the offseason with the trade they made. and they try to replace him with what I think is a swinging gate, Alejandro Villanueva.
That's right.
So when we look at this team, I'm looking at them this year with all the injuries that they have. They're reminding me of this year's version, if you will, of what last year's San Francisco 49ers were. I'm just curious, what do you guys think? How do you see the Ravens this year?
I could definitely see him taking a big fall off this year. I mean, every game everyone says you win it in the trenches. And if you're losing your left tackle or right tackle, you're in trouble no matter who you are. I mean, it helps that Lamar Jackson is quarterback and he can run away from everybody. And he can do things I've never even seen since Michael Vick. But you can't just, I mean, you lose Peters, he's a shutdown corner for him. You lose your starting running back, your backup running back.
Yes.
Once they start mounting, it's hard to overcome that stuff.
Right, and these guys they're not just out for a few games. These guys are out for the season. We haven't seen their number one draft pick, Rashard Bateman, yet. We haven't even seen him to what's been kind of questionable wide receiver core anyway.
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins is always questionable every year. He gets hurt at least 3 to 4 times a year.
He has a first game.
Yeah.
A good game. But no, I really don't think they're. It's hard for me to give the Ravens credit, period. But I mean, with Jackson and those guys, they play defense just like the Steelers do. But I just always thought that with the progression that the Browns have been making, that they were going to be the one that leapfrogged the Ravens. And so now we're looking at, with this injuries, which are part of the game, it's misfortunate, but I think they're looking at third.
Well, Hiram, what's your take on that?
They lost 3 of their stars. They lost 3 running backs. They lost Dobbins, they lost Edwards, and they lost Justice Hill.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I mean, it didn't dawn on me until almost when the preseason started. Why would the Ravens get Alejandro Villanueva when he's supposedly a good pass protector, but can't run? He's not a good in driving people off the ball. And it turns out he's not even a good pass protector.
I was gonna say because Monday night,
right?
He was a
Max
swinging
Crosby.
gate Monday.
Yeah,
He had a career game.
Right. Before all these injuries, I would have said the Ravens and the Browns were. It can go either way. With these injuries, I'm gonna wait and see that it shakes out. But I'm liking the Browns' chances a lot more. I'll just leave it like that.
Well, and the other thing too, and to all of your points, you're listening to Right Side on No Static Radio, where we don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise. Mm-hmm. To your point, the strength, of course, we know offensively of the Ravens was their running game, and basically Lamar Jackson being the feature of that running game. But to take some of the heat and pressure off of him with Justice Hill, especially with J.K. Dobbins, who really had a breakout season last year as a rookie, and was projected this year to really to even step up even more. And now to lose him, and especially lose him before the season, and with the injuries and the losses on the offensive line, and let's just face it, guys. When you look at their receiving core with Marquise Hollywood Brown, with Sammy Watkins, and again, we don't know what Bateman is going to do because he's a rookie, so we don't know yet, and he hasn't played because of injuries. But their wide receiving core was questionable at best. Now their tight end is all world, but with their questionable at best wide receiving core, even when healthy. Now that they've taken these hits to the running game, how do you think that's going to affect Lamar Jackson? Is that going to put even more pressure on him to
Oh, totally will. The new guy, Johnson, that came in, he did pretty good at running back. I mean, if you're going to get injured at any position, let it be like a running back position. Because you can find guys off the street that will all of a sudden come in and play great. Look at our backup, Dearness. He was a fisherman in Marathon, Florida, and all of a sudden he looks like an all-pro third-string backup for the Browns. But there's always going to be more pressure on your quarterback when you guys go down.
To their
Yeah, they did.
Le'Veon Bell and
Yeah, Glue Factory.
who was running back for the Falcons?
Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, Devontae
so,
Freeman. Yeah.
So those are veteran guys, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised. Give them a few weeks, let them get their feet, feet underneath themselves, let them learn the offense, and they might surprise, because I'm sure they got a little left in their tank. That's the whole question. We don't know how much they got left.
The real question is if they could just protect Lamar.
Yeah,
He looked like he was getting hit a lot. In that first game.
And, see, and that's the thing too, because here's another question. So Lamar Jackson is his contract is he's playing on his rookie deal too. There's been a lot of conversation about his contract. We'll get to Baker Mayfield later. Trust me, we'll get to that, deal with that. But if you look at it now, that basically he is their offense now, and
I mean, he was
well, he was before,
since he got there,
but still, before they had these injuries, as I said,
I think that you're saying though, I think they were going to lean a lot on J.K. this year.
Yeah, I believe so too. And so, is the pressure on him now to really, as I said, really step up and really perform? Not only having to carry the team on his back, but also with this contract issue looming over his head.
It's got to be. You think he's a human still, especially if they start off 0-2, that pressure is just going to start building more and more. And they got the Chiefs, so they can easily start off 0-2. And
you're facing the Chiefs without Marcus Peters. Marlon Humphrey he's listed to play, but he was questionable during the week as well. And so now you're facing the Chiefs with a banged up secondary at best. And also, we didn't even mention their losses on the defensive line with Matthew Judon. They lost him in free agency. They lost.
They traded Sean Wade. He was doing awesome for them in camp, I heard. And they traded him, and then from Ohio State.
Yeah,
then,
which I was surprised. Not
too
surprised
later,
they traded him, but
Pierce
surprised. Yeah, not surprised they traded him. Surprised he was doing as well because last year Sean Wade should have been wearing an asbestos suit as much as he was getting burned last year. My goodness, I was calling him toast.
Yes, I think that Lamar would be. I think he's a football player first. Yeah. So the contract shouldn't put any additional pressure on, and I'm sure that it'll be talking points if things do happen to go south for them this year. That hey, look, all these injuries, you took all these weapons away from me. So that'll have something to do with some of the negotiations. I'm sure if things don't go well.
And you listen to the right side on No Static Radio. We don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise. We're doing a football roundtable. We have our guests with us today, Hiram Boyd, Always Positive J, and Paul Red here in the studio. Our call-in number is 216-939-5087, 216-939-5087. Fellas, the strength, and Paul, you said this a few minutes ago, the strength of the Ravens since they became a franchise, and really, since they really became a playoff type franchise, if you look back in their history with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and the guy's name escapes me right now. When he went to Florida State, played during the early 2000s.
Peter
Boulware, yeah, Peter Boulware and T. Sizzle. That's their strength. Thank you, Hiram, for reading that name. Their strength has always been that defense. If you look at that defense now, as I said, they lost Matthew Judon to free agency last year. They lost Ngokwe, who they picked up last year. He's gone. We know, as we said, Marcus Peters is out for the year. I do like their linebacker for Patrick Queen. They got a nice young linebacker for Patrick Queen, and also with the ex-former Buckeye Malik Harrison there. But what about the Ravens' defense? Is it going to be up to their usual standards, or is that going to take a hit this year too?
Too bad. Their Ravens' defense is different than it was back in the day. Um, PFF always talks about how they prefer a secondary over a pass rush. That's always a big topic. I disagree. Give me that pass rush every single time.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. But if you had to choose one, and being in Cleveland when we had Dixon and Minifield and Wright and all those guys, we had no pass rush, and we got burned.
Yeah.
But their defense is more in the line with they invested more in the secondary than they have in the pass rush. So it's different. It's a different thing.
They blitz. They love. The
Yes.
Blitz. They love the blitz.
Right.
So I think you saw it Monday. They got burnt by it, but that's the way they get their pressure. And if they don't get it, and then you don't have the DBs to cover,
Right.
you're going to get some L's.
Yeah, and again, that's where the loss of Marcus Peters really hurts them too. And let's be frank. And I've heard Gerard Cherry talk about this too on the radio, in that the Ravens secondary, especially last year, got away a lot with
Holding.
defensive holding, and they
pull
can't
off
call
a
it
lot real early, so
Exactly.
they don't fall later in the game.
exactly. So the referees aren't going to call it every play, but now you couple that, like you and Hiram said, about how their lack of their pass rush, and then them depending on the blitz, and now losing Marcus Peters and that secondary, they're going to take a hit. So I don't know. At the beginning of the year, I'm going to give my prediction on the division here during the show. Beginning of the year, I'll just say this: I had them a lot higher before they suffered all these injuries than what I have them now. So that's the Ravens. I'll tell you what, I'm going to save our two teams here for last. So the next team I want to look at is the Bengals. So the Bengals have, of course, Joe Burrow coming off of season-ending injury with the torn ACL, and everyone thought that they were going to address their would seem to be their main problem anyway in the draft was their offensive line, but they went a different direction. They drafted Jamar Chase with their first-round pick to reunite him with Joe Burrow, to hopefully, at least for them, to get that connection that they had going when they were together there at LSU. And then, of course, they got Joe Mixon. They had T. Higgins last year. They got Tyler Boyd. So they got they have a lot of weapons there on offense. But I don't know. I don't know about the Bengals with all of their weapons. If you don't address that offensive line, really, what good does it do? Now they look good last week against the Vikings.
He still got sacked.
As a matter of fact, after one of the sacks, he was limping off the field. So it makes you wonder exactly how much recovered he is, which is really kind of a question, and we'll get into this too when we talk about the Browns. But when you look at his injury and Odell Beckham's injury, and Joe Burrow's injury occurred later in the season than what Odell's occurred, I don't know. Do you think the Bengals kind of rushed him back, or is he just had this great recovery?
Different position. He doesn't depend on his legs, running. That's Odell's game. He's got to run, cut, jump, do everything else. So it's definitely a different time frame, definitely a different expectations, I think. So I still don't know. We'll get into that, I guess, too, about Odell, what's really going on with him. But with Joe, I don't think he never was really a running quarterback. So
yeah, no, he wasn't. Well, no, not like Lamar or any of those.
Right,
He did, but he was mobile enough to be able to escape the rush and also to run. When pick up yardage to get first downs or whatever. But yeah, to your point, he's not Lamar Jackson or
Aaron Rodgers-like mobility to him, I thought. He ran when he needed to and when it was open for him, but like you said, he ain't going to burn you for 70 yards and pull away from corners like Lamar can.
I think the question with the Bengals is always going to be about their defense.
Yes.
You put you give up 30 now, you got to score 30. So that puts a lot of pressure on your O.
Yeah, and if they are able, and that's a big if, but if they are able to make running lanes for Joe Mixon, I do like their offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if Burrow can stay upright and they can give him time. They got a lot of weapons there, and they're going to challenge defenses across the league. It seems like Lamar Chase learned how to catch the ball now that the regular season started. Because during the preseason, of course, what the issue with him was so many drops that he had. So it looks like, at least based on the performance that he had last Sunday against the Vikings, he's learned how to hold on to the ball. So if you pair him up with T. Higgins and Boyd, and T. Higgins had a breakout year last year as a rookie, and Joe Mixon, they have a very potent offense there. But you're right, Paul. That defense with on defensive line with former Buckeye Sam Hubbard and ex-Brown Larry Ogunjobi, but linebackers and secondary are huge.
The guy they signed from the Saints last year.
Von Bell.
Mm-hmm. No, the defensive end.
Hendrickson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their defensive ends look pretty good last time I was watching them. I thought.
Well, they're going to have to show it.
Yeah, they're a very young team. I think they're an up-and-coming team. I don't think they're going to challenge anyone for the division this year. But that's one of those teams you don't want to sleep on them if you're another team. You make a few mistakes and they'll pile up some points on you real quick.
I don't understand what they're doing. I letting William Jackson get out of there. I mean, it seems like they should be. I mean, it's been what, 3-4 years. They should be further along than where they are right now. I mean, that offensive line is like a sieve, to be honest with you. When they play the Browns should just rush 4 guys and drop back in zone defense and just because they can't block anybody. They just can't. When they play the Steelers, they're gonna get crushed too on the offensive line. And that defense, I mean, that they should be further along. That's why they're saying that their coach is on the hot seat.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and they should be further along than where they are right now.
Well, they just got Burrow last year.
Yeah, but I mean, they had a year or two to build up that defense further than where it is now too. Though. I mean, letting William Jackson walk away like that was weird.
He went to Washington, right?
Yeah. I mean, what are you trying to do here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I was curious, and Hiram, I didn't even know he was gone until I was watching the game Thursday, and I'm like, wait a minute, William Jackson, he played. I thought he was with the Bengals.
Yeah, he was good, and I thought the Browns had mentioned wanted to talk to him too at one point in time.
Yeah, well, of course, they're not going to trade within the division.
Not trade, go to free agent.
Welcome to the Right Side, caller. State your name and where you're calling from. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. This is Jonathan calling from Hudson. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, Jonathan,
and
how are you?
hello to your distinguished guests, because I've heard of them, and they're very good at what they do and making opinions in sports and so forth. So I'm glad that I get a chance to talk to them. And Jeff and your guests, I have something I want to share with you. I just need your opinion on this, okay?
All right.
This ESPN writer or sports person, I'm not sure who it is, but I saw it on my app the other day. He made these predictions, and I just need your comments on this. The Cleveland Browns, 5 wildly bold predictions. You ready for the predictions?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. The first one is, number 5 is, David Njoku is the best tight end on the roster by the end of the season. What is your take on it? What do you think?
Well, I'll let the guests weigh in first, and then I'll go in after them.
I actually think that could be true. I think David has the highest ceiling. Mm-hmm. Austin Hooper's the most polished. Harrison Bryant's very young. But Njoku's, people forget how young he still is. Mm-hmm. And his athletic ability is off the charts. Right. And now he ain't dropping it, and he has picked up on that blocking for him.
Yep. I agree. He has the biggest upside. I think Hooper, maybe they thought bigger expectations coming in, and he's failed to even live up to that last year. Right. He doesn't seem to. I don't know where he's at this year, but in joke, I can definitely see that.
I will say that I agree with my man right here. Yeah, I do agree that Njoku has the biggest upside, and since he, but here's the thing, the Browns when they drafted him, said that he was going to blossom about this time.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
They predicted this.
They
Yeah.
say tight end is the hardest
yes.
position to learn
That's
as
it.
a
It
young
is.
besides outside quarterback, just because of the physicality
Yeah,
of
too.
it.
I'll also say this about Hooper: when you have a lot of good players, and Browns fans seem to forget this, you can't worry about who's getting this pass thrown to them. You got the key thing is just to be a team player, and when the ball comes to you, you catch it and do what you need to do. Don't worry about I need 8 passes thrown to me. Don't worry about that.
I think a lot of Browns fans got mad because they drafted him in fantasy and he's not putting up 8 for one,
Okay.
two touchdowns.
Okay.
He's a solid player. He's not doing bad.
Right.
He may not be playing up to that contract, but in
It's the
2
money.
years,
That's right.
that contract will
Right.
be a deal probably.
Right.
It's
Right.
the money they gave him.
Well, Hiram, to your point, to quote Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. So if you catch 12 passes and they lose, or if you catch one pass and they win, you play to win the game.
You
Now-
played one season here, like you said. We have a winning season.
Yes, so that's all that counts.
But
So
sometimes it's the threat of that particular player. Just a prime example, not to cut you off, but just the threat of Odell Beckham in that Kansas City game. Even if he didn't catch one pass,
right,
would have opened up so much for all. And you could see it last week with Schwartz.
right,
How it
exactly.
opened up so much.
Exactly.
Didn't worry about how many passes. The threat of you being there was the key.
Exactly. And Jonathan Schwartz, not Schwartz, Njoku in the red zone really could be almost unstoppable. He can almost be unguardable because, with his athletic ability and his ability to high point the ball, if you throw it up, I don't think, and there may be, and I just don't know who it is, I don't think there's a DB in the league or a safety in the league that can jump with him. And as you said, he's now holding on to the ball, and so he's now living up. And really looked at the difference a year makes. Because this time last year, what was David Njoku? David Njoku was what? I want out of here.
Now everyone's
And
freed up.
Browns fans wanted to show him the way, take him out to the airport and see him out of here too. And now, just less than 1 year later, now, he wants to stay. And, as the guys around the table said about, the weapon he is and just the whole attitude has changed. So, yes, I would agree with that take that the Sports Illustrated writer had. What's the other thing they were saying?
Okay. Next thing I want to say, I'm not saying I agree with this, but I just need your opinion on this. Number 4, the Cleveland Browns defense will lead the league in NFL in defensive turnovers.
No.
Okay. And I agree with what I'm saying that maybe the possibility with the Browns defense getting better and better as the season goes along, maybe that's why the sports writer said that, okay?
I don't see it happening. Could it? Yeah, sure. Anything can happen. I mean, they got the defensive line to get pressure, and they got the corners to catch the ball, and they got a bunch of safeties. But I mean, I'd like to see it before I pronounce that happening.
Yeah,
See a hint of it. That's all.
if Grant Delpit and Greedy Williams were healthy and playing up to their capabilities, maybe, but I don't see it. And I still think, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes when we look at the Browns, I still am very much concerned about that linebacking crew as well. So I don't agree with that one. No. What's the next one?
Okay, number 3. Donovan Peoples-Jones will get 700 yards receiving this season.
That's a possibility.
Okay.
I'm
Number
not,
2.
wait, hold
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
700 yards. So 17 game season, and I went to Cleveland School, so I don't know how good my math is on this, but for him to get 700 yards in a 17 game season, and we've already played one game, he got 0 yards last week. Oh yeah, that's right. He had one catch. You're right. I guess it was not that much of significance. Well, I don't remember. he would probably have to average maybe like around 60 yards a game, perhaps. What, 60 times 10 is 600? No, it's even less than that.
Like 40.
Yeah, about 40, yeah, 45, 45, yeah, about 45 yards. How many targets would he be getting?
Right. I mean, but
Here's the thing with him. He can get 3 for 110 real easy. Like, he is very capable of that deep threat, getting long touchdowns. He's proved that last year.
Somebody needs to be on.
I think the bar is slow, so him getting 745 a game, somewhere around there, that's not too.
Because how many targets? Okay.
1,000-yard receivers aren't that uncommon. I mean, I've seen the Cardinals put 3 of them out one
Oh
year.
yeah.
Yeah, but even at that, that's what, like 58 yards a game. But if you think about it, how many targets? So for him to get 45 yards a game, let's say that, you got to also take into thought how many targets is he going to get? When you got Schwartz, you got Landry, you got the tight ends that we talked about, plus Kareem Hunt coming out of the backfield, and they're going to get Nick Chubb more involved in the passing game, and eventually Odell will be back as well, and you got I think I said Schwartz already. God, I forgot Hollywood. Yeah, Higgins. So I don't know, and the reason why I'm hedging on that is not that I don't think he's capable of doing it. I'm just wondering, is he going to get enough targets
If the
and
opportunity's there,
opportunities
he
to
can
get?
do it easily.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you said. He's just got to get the targets.
Yeah, and
I'll say this. Not to demean this question or demean the comment or whatever. It's one of those things where it's not really that important to worry about. Like I said, it's not really that important how many yards he's gonna get because you got to worry about his playing time too.
Right.
They like to go 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends a lot. If you get Odell back, and I mean, just don't worry about how many personal yards you're gonna get. Just the threat of you being out there and you making plays when the time comes. That's gonna be the biggest. That's gonna be the biggest question.
and even when you look at tomorrow's game with the question at left tackle tomorrow, and they may have to start the rookie tomorrow at left tackle. So right then, they're probably going to go 2 tight ends for the majority of the game to give him help on that side. So that's going to diminish some of his targets. Yeah, so that's going to diminish some of his targets too. Okay, I'm sorry, Jonathan. Quickly, what were the other 2?
Okay,
That's 3. What were the other 2?
Number 2 is Miles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney both get 15 sacks this season.
A piece?
No.
No, come on, man. What
Miles
is this?
Garrett, yes.
Man, the
Maybe
85 Bears didn't even do that. I mean, no. Maybe between them, yeah, but a piece. Put it like this, Jonathan. If Garrett and Clowney get 15 sacks apiece,
You're going to the Super
the
Bowl.
Browns are going to not only going to go, they're going to win it.
Oh, but let me ask you this: take Clowney out and put Malik McDowell instead of that. Now you got something to think about right there.
Is he playing in them?
Yes, no, he's not playing in.
Yeah, he's playing
he's
inside.
playing inside.
He's
But
playing
he is
inside.
an absolute. I mean,
Yeah, he's a beast.
Oh my
He
god.
reminds me of young Dominic Sue. How big he is. And he can just pull people backwards like no
Well,
other.
to your point, he's now number
He
one
started.
on the depth chart.
Yes.
So he's starting.
He took Andrew Billings' job.
Right.
And he's not a schlub by any means.
Yeah, rightfully so. People nationally is like, who is this guy?
Well, look at the Chiefs game. What was that? The
Yeah,
first series?
play.
Yeah.
The first-
Yeah. So
And the thing I read his lips, he was like, "Come on, man. I mean, don't try this crap on me. I mean, that guy."
yeah,
And
but
he rated the highest out of PFF grade. He was the highest rated defensive player in that game too.
and for those of you who don't know what PFF, that's Pro Football Focus. And yeah, but no, Jonathan, no, I don't think any of us agree. In our in our dream world as a Browns fan, yes, but in reality, no, that's not going to happen. What was the last one?
And finally, the last one is this. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both rushed for 1,000 yards this season.
That was my bold prediction, one of them, that they both would pull it off. I don't think that I said not Kareem Hunt rushing for 1,000 yards. They'll have a combined over 1,000 yards receiving and rushing. But I think, they'll both go over 1,000 for total yards.
Chubb will definitely go over 1,000 rush. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think both of them get 1,000, only because here again to the same thing that we were talking about with DPJ is I don't think Kareem Hunt is going to get enough touches running the ball, because if you look at the game plan last week, even, uh, you know, there were large stretches of the game last week where Kareem Hunt didn't touch the ball, which was kind of curious to me.
However, I will say this. And when you start to get to week 9, week 10, 11, guys get tired and banged up, and you might start to see him get the ball a little bit more then. A bit more, actually. Or somebody gets an unfortunate injury to Chubb or something. Because it's a long season, man. And these guys get tore up.
The Browns also have the easiest schedule against defenses against the run.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for your call, and thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay, very good. And quick question: the last time I heard, and I guess the game is over, the Indians were leading the Yankees 10-0. Did the Indians win the game today?
Well, good. No, I'll check that score on the break. That makes up for that last night when the Yankees were just playing home run derby last night. So good. So that must mean Savali.
Yeah, it was like 6:30. That was about 2 hours ago. So I think they won the game.
Yeah, I don't think
11-3 was the final.
Yeah, they won 11-3. And Savali must have pitched really well today too. Then if they shut him out, great. Because and even though we're doing the roundtable today, let me just throw this in. So who I hope makes the wild card this year in MLB is I want Toronto and Seattle to be the 2 wild cards. I want the network to have a coronary. Because I want Tampa and Milwaukee in the World Series, and Toronto and Seattle to make it as wild cards in the AL, and Cincinnati, because the Dodgers or the Giants are going to be one of the 2 in the NL. Cincinnati to make it in the National League, just so that those guys at the networks have a coronary with all these no Yankees, no Red Sox. And I hope the Dodgers are the wild card, and they lose in the wild card, so that they'll be out too. But
on a side note, I know we're talking football. The Tampa Bay Rays might be the best run organization in sports. They have no money.
Exactly.
They have no money, and they constantly are kicking. They are kicking. Yeah. And the Indians are similar to them, but the Indians don't go all the way. But they have no money. They're young, and they constantly kick these big market teams' butt on a regular basis.
Yes, they do. And when the Indians were eliminated from the playoffs this year, I became a big Rays fan. I want the Rays to go.
I do too.
And I want them to win it this time. So thanks, Jonathan, for the call. So let's continue our breakdown of the AFC North. Paul, your team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, right. So of course their strength. When I look at that defense, and I look at the fact that they went out, and when Bud Dupree left in free agency to go to the Titans, and they picked up Melvin Ingram III to basically take his place. And I think that the sleeper on that team that nobody talks about, and this guy kind of scares me because the last game of the regular season last year, when the Steelers set all their starters, which I wonder if they regret that now, but when they set all their starters, Alex Highsmith was in the Browns' backfield the entire game. And this was a game, as we all know, that the Browns had to have, that the Browns had their starters out there. Now, they didn't practice that week, but that defense, they got Devin Bush is back this year, of course, Minka Fitzpatrick, and goes without saying, but, we have to mention T.J. Watt, another former Buckeye. All these former Buckeyes on these teams that are our rivals now.
We took
Anyway,
exactly.
That's why they call them the Ohio State Steelers.
Yeah, the Cam Hayward. Anyway, well, now that Barry's in, that's right. No, Dorsey drafted Denzel Ward. I was going to say Barry's in. He did draft Denzel Ward and Tommy Togiai. But that defense, to me, the reports of the demise of the Steelers are premature. And it didn't surprise me at all what they did in Buffalo last week defensively. They exposed, and I'd like to get your guys' takes on this. They exposed the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion, exposed them as a one-dimensional offensive team.
Well, they did that themselves. I mean, Buffalo comes in thinking that they're just going to come in every game and just pass it, pass it, pass it.
Yes.
That's what the other team wants you to do, to be one-dimensional, because now it's easier to defend you.
Yep.
And they devised schemes. They looked at their blocking, and they didn't blitz. Steelers did not blitz. They just rushed four. They switched up. They had Ingram. They had Highsmith, and they had Watt. Sometimes coming in from the middle, but they just completely confused them, and they exposed their offensive line. So, but yeah, the strength of the Steelers has always been, it's going to be their defense, and they drafted Highsmith with the intentions because they knew Dupree was coming up, and so he was there. He was in the background. He didn't get a lot of PT, but he was there. He was that third wheel behind Dupree and Watt. And then when Dupree got hurt near the end of the year, that's when he stepped in. So they're going to be, and I was like, okay, all right, everybody talking about them. But the one thing they did do, their offense is going to be their biggest question mark, and it's the line. It's the line. They went out, got Najee Harris, bona fide, and I think you're going to see it as the year goes on how good he is, and it's a matter of the maturation of that offensive line. They've got two rookies that they were surprised with Dan Moore. They didn't know what they really were getting with him, and that's why he's starting at left tackle, and they drafted Kendrick Green to be their center. So they like Dotson. They got Trey Turner. They picked him up when they got rid of DeCastro. So it's the other side that's the one, and I'm thinking that they're hoping that Banner can get healthy and then take Okafor out of there.
So Paul is the center. They got this. He and the Dermontti Dawson. Name came out of my mind that quickly. The center that just retired. Pouncey's. Yeah, he's in the Dermontti Dawson. Pouncey lineage, or
they're hoping? Yeah, because he was a guard at Illinois, and he played center a couple of games. But they saw, to their credit, they saw some things in him that they liked, and as his aggressiveness, that's what they really like. And I think that was the whole mantra for them with Adrian Clem as the new offensive line coach, that they're coming out and smash them up, and they're learning because they're going now to zone blocking, and the Steelers really never did that before.
That's the style of the Browns.
Right. So now they're going to get that zone and allow Najee to come in and cut back if it's there. See if they can get that push going one way. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that's why this year was so anticipated, because the Browns were so good, showing that they could do some things. And the Steelers, even though they won the division, it's how it ended. But now you just go and wipe out the whole offensive line, and now you're going to see. And so it's going to take a little time. It's going to take a little time. They're going to be slow. And I expected that in Buffalo. I didn't really think they were going to win, but they surprised me. But offensively, that line it's going to take some time for that to develop.
You're listening to the Right Side on No Static Radio. We don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise. We're doing the football roundtable today. We have in studio with us Hiram Boyd, Always Positive J, and Paul Red. Our call-in number is 216-939-5087, 216-939-5087. Paul, to be honest with you, as I said in the opening, talking about the Steelers here, I think that the reports of their demise were very premature because of their defense. Their huge, huge question mark, and I'll get you guys' takes on this as well. Their huge, huge question marks are twofold. Well, first of all, let me talk about, they do have the weapons on offense with Claypool, with Smith-Schuster, Johnson, and also, Freiermuth, the rookie from Penn State, who really played well at Penn State, and We know how Ben likes to use the tight end. But that line is a huge question mark. Will they be able to spring Najee Harris? But the big question mark to me in Pittsburgh is Ben Roethlisberger. Uh, Ben last year got rid of the ball quicker than any quarterback that I could ever, even Marino. He played out of the shotgun more often than I've ever seen him play. And it seems as though like nobody really wants to take hits, but it just seemed like he was just getting rid of that ball because he didn't want to get hit. So, and his arm strength looked like it had started to wane as well. And so the question, the two biggest question marks from where I sit with the Steelers are, A, will that offensive line be able to run block and pass block for Roethlisberger, especially against the defenses that they're going to face this year? And A1 is been finished. So.
Yeah, their defense is obviously, you guys have said, phenomenal. It's always been good. It's the offensive line, and if they can keep Big Ben upright all year, I mean, he's old, man. He can't be taking these hits like he used to.
Right. But he threw 33 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and I think most of them came at the end of the year. Remembering he's a year off, this is his second year off his elbow surgery.
Yeah, I'm just questioning his arm strength. Can he get the ball down the field?
Yeah,
he didn't really throw the ball down the field last year.
No, he said, I was trying to remember, he was coming off of that injury. He threw so many passes because they didn't have the off season and everything else that he felt it at the end of the year that his arm got tired. So this year he's back to his. I think he's back to his self. You'll be able to see it. Once again, in football, everything begins and ends with the lines. So if his line holds up and gives them time, you'll see Claypool going down. You'll see.
I don't see it happening though.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't want to see it.
No, I don't.
That's.
Well, we're trying to keep our objectivity here. I'm not trying to
Exactly.
let my fandom get in it too. But
Exactly, because like everything else, they have to learn. That offensive line has to mesh, and we'll see. And that's why I said this is one of the most anticipated off seasons, and the season coming up now, just to see how everything plays out. But when you're talking about wins and losses, it's a good start for them going into Buffalo, winning like they did, threefold. You get offense, defense, and special teams, and that's what won it.
Well, on the Buffalo game, right before the game, I said about 12:30 before the game started. I said Steelers are going to win this game because Buffalo refuses to run the ball. I said it then.
Didn't even seem like Buffalo was doing bad when they ran the ball either.
They crushed them. They gashed them. They gashed them when they ran the ball.
They just refused to do it.
They didn't
Exactly.
commit. They were stubborn, and so they learned the hard.
And that's why Buffalo, in my opinion, isn't as good as people because they just refuse to run the ball. And when the Steelers play the Browns, the thing is, Steelers got to worry about that run game, so they can't tee off on that quarterback on the edge. And here's another question for me, at least, about the Steelers. What happens when T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith and Ingram and all of them don't get to the quarterback? That secondary ain't up to snuff, in my opinion.
well, other than Minka Fitzpatrick,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Because
traded
Joe
for-
Hayden is on his. I think
Yes.
he's on his last leg.
Akilla Weatherspoon, who I like coming out of college, but good, I thought he'd be better than what he is. They traded for him. I don't even know who the other
They
cornerbacks
got
are.
Cam. That's what it is. You'll be finding out. Cam Sutton has been. They paid
Yeah,
him.
number 20.
They
That's right.
paid him,
Right.
and they're really high on James Pierre,
Ja-
number 42.
They're disappointed in Justin Lane.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
They drafted him as a project out of Michigan State.
This is third year.
Yeah, I understand. And so he
As much as
came
I
in.
despise your team, I don't question their defense ever.
He
Ever.
came
I
in
don't
as
know
a
what their secondary is,
he
and I'm like, they're
played-
probably good.
he was a wide out, and then he converted over
Okay.
to a DB. So he's not even in the pecking order, to be honest. He's on special teams, but when you got, when you've got the level, 3 levels, you got the line, you got Cam Hayward, you got Tuitt, you got
I
Alualu,
didn't even mention
you got, and at least you guys don't even talk about Joe Schobert.
Oh, I didn't like Joe Schobert here, so
But
I can go on a rant about Joe.
Everybody talks
Captain
about
tackle you after 5 yards.
everybody talk, but once again, if the Browns' defense was terrible, when he went to Jacksonville, their defense was terrible. So if you've got nobody keeping you clean, right, where are you gonna you're gonna disengage from the block and then have to tackle the guy. He still led the team in tackles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but what they got him for was his coverability.
But what happened when they ran the ball? Joe Schobert didn't show up. If they would have kept running, you'd be like, I can't stand Joe Schobert.
No, but
Trust me.
They didn't. Well, once again, that's where it's going to come out.
I don't know, Paul. Joe Schobert, to me, you know who he is to me. He's DeQuell Jackson. And maybe in Pittsburgh, playing behind that line, as you said, with Tuitt and Hayward and, Watt and Ingram and all the rest.
They'll
It may
elevate
be
him.
different.
He ain't going to elevate him
No,
at all.
no,
Yeah.
they didn't bring up. They brought him in to be
A role player.
that kind of like that glue, that smart guy who's there in the middle, calling the defense.
Because he'll get you an interception here and there.
There you
too,
go.
but
You get those turnovers, and
if
that's
you
what
run
they
the
do.
ball against him, he can't stop him.
Well,
He gets you right out of his shoes real
Well,
quick.
that's what
Yeah.
they're
It's
hoping.
Devin Bush, I worry.
that's what I was going to say. Their run center is Devin. But, that scared me to your point, because I watched Devin Bush when he played with that school up north. And when I saw the Steelers move up 10 places,
Which they rarely do.
Which they rarely do. And when I saw them make that trade with Denver, move up 10, the words that came out of my mouth, and no sooner had they came out of my mouth, Roger Goodell was now saying, with the 10th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers draft, because I was saying, I hope they don't draft Devin, and before I could get it out. So, so
They've been trying to replace Shazier.
Yeah, they have. And I think they have, but that's sad. They replaced the Ohio State guy with a guy from up north. But anyway.
That was a huge loss for you guys. I can't even imagine what this defense would be if Shazier was on right now.
So yeah, I as I said, I've heard a lot of people just, for lack of a better term, crowing about the demise of the Steelers. I'm like, pump the brakes on that, because as I said, that defense is going to keep them in a lot of games.
Coach is going to just keep
Exactly. That's the other thing. Mike Tomlin, despite Steeler fans that want to run him out of time, this is what I don't understand.
We'll take him.
I don't understand. They talk about Cowher, but you look at Cowher's last couple of years there. I think Cowher had a losing season. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Oh, he won the Super Bowl with Cowher's players. He got to the Super Bowl with Cowher's players. Well, that's debatable, but the fact of the matter is he got there.
That's right.
And they have yet to have a losing season. So, when all those rumors are going around about Baltimore when they want to get rid of Harbaugh and Pittsburgh wanting to get rid of Tomlin, and this is when we had the great Hugh Jackson here, and they were going to get rid of him. I was like, man, I hope Pittsburgh fires one of those two, because if I'm the Browns, I'm on the line as soon as they have the press conference announcing that they're firing. So the Steelers are going to be, as I said, I'm not predicting their demise. Unlike you, Paul, I don't believe in Ben. I think Ben's at the end of the road, and I also am not real high on that offensive line. I think that those are going to be the two things that are going to trip them up. Although surprisingly, and we get to the prediction section, I'll have something else to say about the Steelers. But to all the Browns fans out there, and Ravens fans and others that have been high-fiving and saying the Steelers are done, no, they're not. They're not done. But I'm not picking them to win the division. I'll just say that.
I want to see when they block. I want to see when they block the Browns front. That talk to me then. When they block McDowell and Clowney and Jackson.
Right.
It'll be trick or treat day.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone is healthy because I'm looking forward to that too. That's my only, and let's just segue right into that. So now we're gonna look at the Browns with, of course, their big pickups in the offseason. By the way, you're listening to the right side on No Static Radio. We don't bring the static, but we sure don't bring the noise. We're having a football roundtable today. Our guests in the studio are Paul Red, Always Positive J, and Hiram Boyd. Our call-in number is 216-939-5087, 216-939-5087. Of course, the Browns in the offseason of this past offseason did on the other side of the ball what they did in the offseason going into the 2020 season. Of course, in that offseason, we know that they addressed their offensive issues by upgrading the offensive line tremendously, upgrading the tight end position, and so they addressed that, and we saw the fruits of that, especially in the second half of the season when the players finally learned Stefanski's system and it kicked in. So what did they do in this past offseason? They saw that last year their Achilles heel was that defense, worse in the league on third and fourth down. So, of course, in the offseason they signed John Johnson III and Troy Hill in free agency from the Rams. They went and got Jadeveon Clowney in the offseason, brought in Malik McDowell, Malik Jackson, Anthony Walker, and then they drafted, Greg Newsome. They drafted. So, in other words, they addressed the areas of need on defense. Now, of course, already Anthony Walker's injured, but it's not a season-ending injury. They also, too, they drafted JOK. So to that point, they spent the majority of the off-season, trying to upgrade that defense. So here's the question on the table. We only have one game sample size, so we really don't have a sample size to look at. Do you guys think that they will be successful in addressing that very blatant area of need that they had on the defense? If you do that and they get they get by you, that's it.
And they can very easily get by you. They're no jokes, man. Those are some super speeders on that team.
And so I'm not that critical of the defensive scheme that Joe Woods played last week. And to that point, the Browns did give him the ball back. The defense did get the offensive ball back with a chance to win the game.
That's all you can ask.
Clowney and Miles sacked Mahomes there to force him to punt to give the ball back to. But the overview, not so much to look at that game, but the overview of this season. So, Hiram, what do you think the changes that the Browns made to this defense? Is the defense going to be in the kind of position once they gel, in your opinion, to take the Browns deep into the playoffs this year?
I do like the talent that they added. I'm not sold on Joe Woods. I said it at the time, and I said it in real time. When Stefanski's biggest mistake was firing the defensive coordinator and hiring Joe Woods. Last week's game, and we can go over the many mistakes he made last year. Last week's game, he got too complacent with being able to rush 4 guys, and then he became a sitting duck. He was too predictable last week. Mahomes knew exactly what to do against the Browns defense, and he did it and marched up and down the field in the second half of the game last week. He was too predictable.
So you think they should have kept Greg Williams? Is that what you're saying?
I love Greg Williams. Love Greg Williams.
You know what Miles said about him.
That's fine. Look, I'm fine with players not liking coaches.
Okay.
Your butt is to do what he asked you to do. He is the defense. He's running the show. And Greg Williams had these guys balling with no secondary. They had to play guys 30 yards back in the back, and he had them balling. And plus, what I like about Greg Williams is he's a big fan of negative yards.
I like Greg too.
You get ahead, you don't run on his defense. And you're gonna be second and 13, second. Now he does blitz a little bit too much, but I like a little bit more aggressiveness. The defensive, who was the former head coach of the Cardinals, who was the defensive coordinator for the Browns right before Stefanski got here.
Yeah.
He knew if you remember him when he was with the Panthers, he had those guys balling too, and he didn't have enough talent, huh?
I'm going Blake too. He was the defensive coordinator in the Freddie Kitchen. Oh yeah, I can see his face.
I forget it, but it came down between him and Joe Woods, and I said Stefanski made a mistake. What it was is that this was an old boy. I knew you back when we were in Minnesota, and and I promise you, if I got a head coaching job,
But will the Browns be able to stop them?
I'm not
They did
convinced.
pretty good last week.
I'm not-
Against,
That's not the team you want to.
Yes,
Not run,
exactly,
obviously,
exactly.
The Browns' Achilles heel
It's-
for
it's-
the longest. They can't stop the run.
Under Greg Williams, though, he had them guys
Well,
stopping the run. That tells you that, and didn't have the players. That tells you that this is a coaching issue.
So
You said Malik McDowell, right? You love him.
Mhm.
Jadeveon Clowney is an amazing run stopper.
Yes,
for
he is.
defensive end. I think that defense is going to be all right. To be
Oh.
honest with you. And I don't think you've really seen Joe Woods' defense yet. What you saw against the Chiefs is it's what you have to do against the Chiefs. You can't play what you want to do. You got to play against their strengths. And
But he can't
it's
be.
impossible to beat it almost.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree.
Last
with you.
year, he didn't even have nowhere near the personnel
I
to do what he
agree.
wanted to do. That's why I said I'm holding out judgment on him. Is what I'm saying. I want to see what he does against teams like the Texans and the Chargers and stuff. Offenses that are like, all right, good, but they're not the Chiefs. I'm holding.
But
judgment on him.
here's I've seen coordinators, Greg Williams being one, take a heck of a lot less than what Joe Woods had, and
I
made
like
it
Greg
into something.
Williams. His known problem is his attitude wears on players after so many years.
That
They don't
is
want.
true.
They just give up on him after
Yeah.
so many years because
Yeah.
how many F-bombs can you take from one person?
That's true. But you know who else wanted this job and who would have been a lot better than than Joe Wood? He was begging for the job. Wade Phillips.
Oh, I would have loved Wade.
Wade Phillips begged for the job. He
Yeah.
was in town too to interview for the job.
well, and to that point, Hiram, Wade Phillips has really coached some great defenses too.
Absolutely.
Because he was the Rams defense.
Yes, he was. Greg Williams was there too.
Yeah.
Right before Wade Phillips was.
So
Yeah, I'm not. Bottom line is that for me, I think the run defense is not where it's supposed to be. I'm not so sure he has these guys calling the right scheme at the right time. This tells me that this is a coaching issue. When I see a defensive coordinator who had a lot less do a lot better than what you're doing with a lot more talent, this is a coaching issue, in my opinion.
well, the thing that hurts the Browns' run defense, and maybe it'll change this year with hopefully the upgrades at this position, is their interior defensive line, number one, their tackles, and probably I would say 1A is their linebackers. The Browns' linebacking core, really since they come back, really. I can't remember a good Browns linebacking crew
Jameer Miller.
since, one guy,
That's
true, but
I've been wanting a linebacker for so long. For the Browns.
they haven't had a core of linebackers since they had Matthews, Eddie Johnson, Mike Johnson, that crew.
Meanwhile, I get to watch your Steelers with they were like shark teeth, man. One goes down, boom, another one pops in, becomes a Pro Bowler.
So
Harrison.
here's the question: do you guys think, with the addition of JOK, with the addition of Anthony Walker, who's out right now, and hopefully the maturation of Taki, Mac Wilson,
Once again, yeah. And
See, Mac Wilson is Joe Schobert. That's how I see it. They're two same players. They both will make a good interception here and there, but they'll tackle your running back every
I
game
want to
6
see
yards.
JOK. I want to see his development. The biggest question was,
size.
Yeah, was he a linebacker? Was he a safety? You know,
He's able to get off these blocks.
Yeah. So these are all the questions that are yet to be answered, and I think they'll unfold as the season goes on, and you'll be able to see development here or not. You know,
This defense is also built for this offense to get you a lead, and then they want to force you to pass it.
That's true.
They don't want you to run the ball. They want to force you to try to jump
Yeah,
out
so-
ahead of you, and then just
And then let
unleash
loose
Myles Garrett on
and
you all
Clowney
day long.
and the rest. You're listening to the right side on No Static Radio. We don't bring the static, we'll sure enough bring the noise. Our call-in number is 216-939-5087. 216-939-5087. Okay, guys, here's the elephant in the room. Josh Allen got his contract. Lamar Jackson, we already talked about. What, in your opinion, is the reason that the Browns have not signed Baker Mayfield to his extension, to his new contract yet?
I'll let you guys take this one first because I'm pretty dumbfounded on this.
I'll
to be
look at.
honest.
I think the narrative has always been, can he take that next step? And as they've shown, and I've seen some other stats, his fourth quarter stats, and he's got to learn how to take that team down and win. You know, that's what the good quarterbacks do. That's what the Mahomes and the Russell Wilsons and the Rodgers and all those guys. You know, when it's given the ball, and last week was an opportunity for him, and he didn't do it. But I think that's a big question. Is he the guy that's going to be able to take this team to that next level?
So, I mean, he's got 7 comeback victories. Yeah, he would have had a couple more if the defense didn't lose him. I don't think that's the big problem. I think it's becoming a narrative for people now because the last thing, and obviously, everyone remembers your last game.
But you know what, Jay, to play devil's advocate here on that. If you look at the so-called big games, okay, every game is a big game in the NFL because you only play a small amount of games. But you look at the year, his rookie year, when they had the chance to spoil the Ravens' playoff chance, and they had the ball last, they threw the interception. I'll throw out 2019 because I want to forget that season. I'm going to call that the Mulligan year. But, you know,
Rookie year on that first one.
yeah, last year, you know, the divisional playoff game, everybody talks about how the Browns never got the ball back because they couldn't stop Chad Henne because of how poor the defense was. But people don't remember that before that Kansas City drive, the Browns had the ball with like 8 minutes or something left in the game with a chance to take the lead, and they went 3 and out in that game. And, you know, there have been others as well. So some will make the argument that, and this is not me, I'm just, as I say, because I'm going to give my take on it in a few minutes, but I want to hear you guys first. Some will make the argument that the Browns have been hesitant to sign him to that contract extension yet because they want to see what he's going to do this year, if he's going to be able to take him to the next level. Go ahead, Hiram. Go over what you're going to say.
I think it's a very weak, very, 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 very weak argument for the Cleveland Browns fans and the Browns organization if they're thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remember in that Kansas City game, Wyatt Teller, that drive you're talking about, Nick Chubb dropped the ball, Wyatt Teller got called for holding. So you're looking at
Your left tackle's out the whole game.
the left tackle. I forgot about that. I mean, that's one drive. That's the final drive that but you know, he
His
doesn't.
Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham's not out there.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't
It's
walk
his
on
first
water.
playoff game.
He doesn't walk on water. I mean, you have. This is why I don't really like talking to Browns fans. They're so doggone unrealistic, in my opinion. He doesn't walk on water. The play in last week's game, I call it unfortunate. I mean, it was one of those things where he wanted to throw the ball out of bounds, and he got hit as soon as
I don't know how no one talks about how he was being hit from behind.
Right,
on his left.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
when you're going to throw it like that and you're going
So,
changing
but
trajectory
Jay, so
of
what
the
do you
ball,
guys say to this argument though? Because I've heard this a lot too, that for Baker everything has to be perfect. Other quarterbacks don't have this, have everything perfect, but they're able to come through. What do you guys say to this?
What was the record of this team before Baker got here? 0-16, 1-16. They didn't have a good
Yeah, they should have been
quarterback
0-32.
since Bernie. I think he doesn't need everything good around him. He came in here and helped turn
that's
this thing
the
around.
that's the Colin Cowherd.
But isn't when you draft a quarterback number one and you bring in a new head coach, isn't the head coach supposed to be crafted? They supposed to be neck and neck, and they supposed to craft the off. That's exactly what happened. So you still complaining about it? I mean, isn't Urban Meyer supposed to be crafting his offense around?
Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, and you
Pretty
still
sure Andy Reid does his offense around the capability of Patrick
right.
Mahomes.
I mean, what are we talking about here? What it is that, in my opinion, is that, and I see this with the Cavs. In my opinion, you got a bunch of people who didn't want Baker; they wanted Sam Darnold. You got a bunch of people in Cleveland. Yeah, I didn't want him either. You got a bunch of people, and this is how petty some Cleveland Browns fans are, who are still mad at him planting that flag at Ohio State. You still. But here's where, and I'll leave it like this, where the whole argument falls. I remember at the beginning of the year, Kevin Stefanski came out and said he's going to struggle in the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season.
You talking about last season?
Last season, right? He's going to struggle with my offense, and by week 9, but you're going to see him take off. He predicted this, and looking at last, and week 9, he's probably the best quarterback from week 9 on. He's probably the best quarterback.
He wasn't turning it over.
No, he was not. And watching last week's game, I know the final drive wasn't what we wanted, but he was outstanding. He
played a great game.
He was outstanding. He was every bit as good as Patrick Mahomes.
He played a great game. The fact of the matter is that if you want to look at last week's game, the Chiefs did not beat Kansas City Chiefs did not beat the Cleveland Browns last week. The Cleveland Browns beat the Cleveland Browns because Nick Chubb never fumbles. If you look at that drive, look at the drives prior to that, the Chiefs had not stopped the Browns at all. So Nick Chubb, then they were on the Kansas City side of the field. He does not fumble. In all we can't predict it, so we don't know for certain. But in all likelihood, given the trend of how the game was going, the Browns probably would have scored a touchdown there as well. You take that. Then Jamie Gillen, Lord knows, only him and the Lord knows what he was doing on that punt last week where he panicked. Because when I first saw it, I said, oh, he must have snapped it over. I said, no, he snapped it right to him. So even though that wasn't a turnover, that basically gave Kansas City first and 10 on the 15-yard line. And then the last drive. So, yes, Hiram. And so here's my take on it. I think, for whatever reason, the front office is waiting because in the back of their mind, they don't want to get into a Jared Goff, Carson Wentz type of situation, which I don't think they are going to because I think Mayfield is better than both of those guys. I think Mayfield is on the level. So Mahomes, Brady, and Rodgers are your top 3. I think Mayfield is on that next level right below them, and he could possibly get into that level. The thing that kills me about, Hiram, you talking about Browns fans, the thing that kills me about Browns fans is that we cried and moaned and wept and all this for so many years for a quarterback. And they finally get one, and now, that percentage is starting to shrink now, but for a long time, a large percentage of the population wanted to run him out of here. Yeah. I take no credit for this. When I had this show on a previous station back in 2017, I came out in that year, in February, actually it was in 2018, February of that year, and I said that I hope that with the Browns' number 1 pick this year, I hope they draft Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. I said I did not want Sam Darnold because I remember watching Sam Darnold in the Cotton Bowl against the Buckeyes that year, And when he had that deer in the headlight look in his eyes when the guy with the Bengals, Sam Hubbard and Chase Young, and then were getting after him, I said, no, I don't want him because he doesn't play well under pressure. I didn't want Josh Allen because he had accuracy issues at Wyoming. It looks like he's kind of got those together now. And I didn't really want Rosen either. I wanted Mayfield. And so I think the Browns can win with Mayfield. I think the Browns can and the conditions don't have to be perfect for him. The lunacy of this argument is this, especially this is the argument that Calvin Cowherd makes, is that, well, Mayfield has to have everything perfect. They had to get offensive line for it. They had to get a tight end. They had to get a running game. They had to get a wide receiver. Hello? I mean, aren't you supposed to do that? Don't you think Patrick Mahomes loves having Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce?
No. Once you get a good quarterback, you're like, all right, we need to get the crappy guys in here.
Yeah,
we need the worst linemen. We need receivers that can't catch the ball and run routes because we want to say that our quarterback. No, you put the team around everybody.
Why didn't Mahomes do it by himself last year in the Super Bowl?
In the Super Bowl, exactly. And so that's just
take his good lineman away and all.
Right, exactly. Then he becomes average quarterback.
Right.
And there's the lunacy of that. And then I think back to the craziness of this when the Browns, and I'm not going to go too much into this, we're getting near the end of our show here, but when the Browns drafted Tim Couch with the number 1 pick in the draft, they should have drafted Don McNabb. Well, for Don McNabb's sake, I'm glad they didn't draft him. You draft Tim Couch with the number 1 overall pick in the draft, right? You give him no line, no receivers, and no running game, and say, go out and win. And you see what happened to him. I think he could have been, if he would have got drafted by Philadelphia, then the
narrative might have been different.
The narrative would have been a whole lot different. And so for Donovan McNabb's sake, I'm glad the Browns did not draft him. So I just brought that up to show the craziness of it.
Like Bernie said, the quarterback's a product of the people around him.
Exactly. So let's get in, because we had about 15 minutes or so left. So let's get into our prediction section. So start with the AFC West. Just around the table, who wins the AFC West, Paul?
KC,
Jay?
KC.
Hiram?
KC.
KC also. AFC South?
Tennessee.
They got to show something. Wow, that's
Because you look.
I don't trust Carson Palmer. Jacksonville's trash. And, we're about to show the nation what Houston's made of.
Right.
And you figure that Tennessee and Indy have, between Jacksonville and Houston, they got 4 wins. If they split with one another, that's fine. I'm sorry, Hiram. Who you got in the South?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Indy. I do like Indy. Tennessee can't stop anybody.
Yeah, I got Indy also because Tennessee got exposed last week. I know it's only one game, but they got exposed. AFC East, Paul.
Bills.
Jay.
We'll go with Buffalo.
Hiram.
Play devil's advocate again.
I know who you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say my boy. I loved him when he was here. BB, Bill Belichick.
Okay, I got Buffalo also. Wild cards. Oh, wait, before we get to that. Okay, the NFC West. Paul.
I'll go with the 49ers. You got 49ers.
That's a tough division.
I think I'm a roll with them. I think I'll roll with 49ers.
You can make the argument.
For all of them.
All 4. Yes.
You can make the argument that from top to bottom is the best division with Seattle, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Cardinals.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. They're looking strong.
The Cardinals just gangster smacked Tennessee last.
Cardinals are very under. I mean, they got athletes on that
defense.
Yes,
Really
they got all types of athletes.
They drafted Collins and they had Simmons last year.
Buda Baker. They have
Chris Jones won 5 sacks last week.
Chandler.
I'll go with the Rams.
Jay, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the surprise. I'm gonna go with Arizona. I see Kyler Murray putting a really good year together. He's got wide receivers and weapons everywhere, and that defense is coming along
He
real
got
nice.
D-Hop and he's
Patrick
got
Peterson looks
A.J. Green
revived.
out there.
I'm gonna go with my Super Bowl team out of the NFC. One Super Bowl contender out of the NFC. San Francisco has a really, really, really strong team. I'm gonna go with them.
So
This
who?
division makes you wish that division winners just automatically didn't get in the playoffs, because the NFC East, none of those guys really belong in the playoffs, and the entire West belongs in the playoffs.
So, Hiram, let me ask you about the Niners. So, what about their quarterback situation? You think Garoppolo is the quarterback all year, or does Lance take over?
I do. I haven't watched that much of Lance, but from what I understand, he looks very, very talented, but very, very raw. And I'm not a Garoppolo guy. You know what? And I'm going to say this. I'm glad you brought this up. I was telling some people this at the beginning of the preseason. I don't think the 49ers front office, coaching staff, fans, and the organization ever forgave Jimmy Garoppolo for missing that throw in the Super Bowl.
Emmanuel Sanders on these
I don't think they ever forgave him for that. I think they've been out hunting for him to be gone ever since.
I think they forgot he brought him there, though.
That defense really brought them.
I agree.
Yeah, he got him. Yeah, he was a quarterback. You can't take that away, but that defense
was the real reason.
They were killing people that year.
Ask the Cleveland Browns. Line was scary.
And one last thing, you got to be careful with anointing quarterback. Well, you need a Hall of Fame quarterback to win. It's been proven that you really don't. You just need if your defense is good enough, you need pretty much just a solid quarterback to you can win with that.
I got the Rams.
Okay.
And Matthew Stafford, that's an upgrade, although I'm not ready to anoint him yet as a savior and get his bust in Canton ready. But I like the Rams, even with losing Troy Hill and also John Johnson third on them. They still got Aaron Donald.
Jalen Ramsey.
They better not get any injuries, though.
That's true.
That's anybody.
That's true, but their depth is really hurt.
None of us said Seattle, and they could easily win the division.
Yes, they could.
They could.
They sure could.
Their problem, I think, their weakness is their defense.
I mean, they got
no pass rush.
But they have the best quarterback in that division.
That's
true.
Cool.
That's true. They have no pass rush.
They have no pass rush.
Offensive line problems too.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. That's the thing. You got a quarterback like Russell Wilson, you never address the offensive line.
He spoke out of it. He spoke out against that too.
Yes, so that's the West. So the NFC. Did we do the South?
No.
NFC. Well, let's do the North first. The NFC North.
Green Bay.
Jay.
We'll go Green Bay.
Hiram.
Green Bay.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay and nobody else in that division. The Bears.
No.
If Justin Fields comes in and tears it up, though,
Still,
that defense is good enough where you got a quarterback like him, you can do something.
I don't think he's ready to do that.
Were they in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they were. They
barely.
8-8. They made the playoffs at 8-8. So.
But they hurt. That offensive line is hurting too. Who they got? Jason Peters.
Yes, right. And their defense, although it's not bad, it's starting on the decline.
Yeah, it is.
So, I don't think Packers the only playoff team that.
I agree.
What about the NFC South? Hiram?
Underrated. Who's it? Oh yeah, Atlanta, Carolina,
New Orleans.
Tampa. I'm gonna go with Tampa. I want to see more New Orleans but you know what? You know who a team I'm liking in that division? Carolina's. That coach in Carolina, they know what they're doing in Carolina.
Yeah,
Put
it like that.
Coach. Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Jay, who you got?
It's Tampa Bay. I mean, they're Super Bowl winning champs, and they brought their entire starting back. Everybody back.
The question there is, when does Father Time catch up to?
I ain't trying to predict it.
I got out of that
15 years. We were talking about that for 15 years, haven't we?
I got out of that business too. I thought
his arms
last year
didn't
was
even look tired or anything last year, man. He still got it somehow.
I got to get a devil his due, although I hate Tom Brady.
I know.
Well,
I don't know. I need to take over his diet. Though.
You remember when people hated Bruce Arians here in Cleveland?
Yeah, well, actually, you know what, Hiram, now that you mentioned that, when the Browns were looking for a coach, that's
He begged.
exactly who I wanted
Yeah,
them
well,
to hire.
he begged. Well, you know who didn't want to hire him?
Podesta.
No, that was John Dorsey didn't want to.
Yeah, well,
He
yeah,
didn't want to
that's
hire. He didn't want to hire Stefanski, nor did he want to hire. He didn't even want to. He didn't even interview Bruce Arians.
Yeah, you're right. I wanted Bruce. That's when they hired Freddie, not Stefanski. You're
Yeah.
right. Paul, who you got in the South?
Oh, definitely Tampa. Definitely Tampa.
And the NFC least, I'm sorry, well, I got Tampa too. The NFC East, I should say. I'll go first. I'm kind of torn because if you could put one team's defense on the other team's offense, you'd have a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
You could put Washington's defense with Dallas's offense. That team would come out of the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 2 games though, it's like the skin. The football team.
The Tyler Heineke, they're raising some Heinekens down there for Heineke right now.
They might be reading their clippings because their D has not.
Yeah, they hasn't come. Yeah, I've been surprised because Justin Herbert lit them up last week.
Two games.
I guess I'm gonna go reluctantly because I don't like this team either. But I'm reluctantly gonna go with the Cowboys here. Jay, who
I'm
you
going
got?
Philadelphia. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jalen Hurts. To be
Wow.
honest.
Yeah.
That
Devontae
is a
Smith
super pick.
is going to have an awesome year, and they, like you said, they ain't the best defense or the best offense. They're both right there in the middle of that division.
That's the division where no team is repeated. I guess they always.
Yeah,
They had a lot of injuries last year too on that team.
Washington won last year, so that'll eliminate them.
Yeah.
I'm going on that premise, so I'll go. I think I'm gonna go with Philly.
No two Phillies.
I don't like Dallas. I'm going with Dallas.
I don't trust Dallas. Has got the tackles already out, both of them. Their lines out.
Yeah, their defense is bad, but Dak and their offense showed last week, and especially without Zach Martin because he was out with COVID. Dak looked great. You know, I think what hurt them last week is the same thing that hurt Buffalo. Let's say this: if you can't run the ball or won't run the ball, you are going to struggle against good teams.
Yes.
Who's going to hold Dallas back? Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I still think they can win
that
that division. Though.
Terrible.
They're not going far. I would agree with you on that, Jay. So here are my wild card teams, and to see what you guys say with this. So in the NFC, the wild card teams that I have in the NFC, because as I said, I had the Rams winning the division. I've got San Francisco and also Seattle as wild card teams in the NFC. In the AFC, for the wild card teams, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. Although I think it was UJ, or it might have been Paul, I can't remember, said about the rush to judgment on young quarterbacks. I think that Justin Herbert is getting a lot of hype right here, and I just want to see him do it. Now the teams have film on him, now that the tape is out. But I think they're going to be a wild card team. And my second wild card team in the AFC are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, when we get to our predictions here in the AFC East, I've got Buffalo. We made those predictions already.
Yeah.
We did that already. Yeah. So
we skipped the AFC
we
North.
skipped the AFC North. So the AFC North, I guess I just gave it away. I've got the Browns winning the AFC North. I think their record is going to be 12-5, and I think Pittsburgh is going to come in second, Baltimore third, Cincinnati fourth, and I think both Cleveland and Pittsburgh will make the playoffs out of the AFC North. Hiram?
Browns win the division 13-4. Then I have Baltimore. I think they recover Pittsburgh, and then Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is going to win the division.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking, guys. Look at your guys' face
And
on that one.
Stephen A. says, put the weed down.
I just want to see your guys' reaction when I said that one. You both all look at me like, is this kid kidding me? No, it's going to be the Browns are going to win the division, and I think Pittsburgh's going to be right on their heels.
You know I got it reversed. So I got the Steelers still
Cut his mic.
being champs. 12-5, I think.
Okay.
12-5.
And in the AFC Championship game, well, I'll do the NFC Championship game. The NFC Championship game this year, I've got the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Bucks, and I got surprise, surprise. I've got the Rams coming out the. No, I don't. I'm sorry, I read this wrong. I got Tampa once again coming out the NFC. Hiram, who's in the NFC Championship game?
NFC Championship game, I got San Francisco and Green Bay, and I got San Francisco going here.
Jay?
Tampa versus Green Bay. Tampa winning.
So repeat of last year. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to Rams in Tampa Bay. So, and I think the Rams will be nice.
Okay, so we got the same one. I hope you're right and I'm wrong because I will not be rooting for Tampa. In the AFC, I'll do mine last. Jay, who do you have in the AFC Championship game?
Browns. It's going to versus Kansas City. We're going to see if we can get them for the third time.
Paul?
Try not to be too much of a homer, but I think it's going to be KC in Buffalo in the championship.
Okay, and who do you have coming out?
I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
Hiram?
KC and the Browns in the AFC Championship game.
And you're going to the Super Bowl is?
I'll say the Browns because I think Kansas City don't want to see the Browns again, in my opinion.
I've got the same thing, Hiram. I've got Kansas City and Cleveland, and this is not a homer pick. I think the third time will be the charm.
Yeah.
I've got a Cleveland Tampa Bay Super Bowl, but it's going to give us all more reasons to hate Tom Brady. I think Tampa will prevail over the Browns in that Super Bowl. And God, I hope I'm wrong.
I got the Browns over Tampa in the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. There's one thing I learned about that game last time is the Browns had to play their A game to beat the Chiefs, and they didn't. They only played their B game. The Chiefs had to play their A game to beat the Browns, though.
Paul, did we get your Super Bowl pick?
I'm gonna go with the Rams over Buffalo.
Okay, and Hiram?
I got the Browns over the Niners.
All right. There you go. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I've got Defensive Rookie of the Year is Micah Parsons of the Cowboys. And the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I got Jamar Chase down in Cincinnati. I think being reunited with Joe Burrow down there, I think they're going to have a special year. And speaking of the Bengals, you know, Jay, you made a joke, but I don't think they're going to be a pushover this year. I've got Cincinnati 7 to 8 wins this year, even in this division. I think the team that's going to struggle this year in this division because of all the injuries they've had are the Ravens. I think the Ravens, because of all the injuries they had, are going to be an 8 to 9 win team this year, only because of all the injuries that they suffer. I mean, think about it. As we said, Marcus Peters is out for the season. Dobbins out for the season. Their offensive line is very, very questionable. Their receiving core, even with everything in place,
missed all of camp.
Yeah, I think this is going to. That I don't think their defense is as formidable as it has been in the past. And Paul, to your team, I think they're going to go 10-7 this year, possibly 11-6. But I do think, as I said, I did have them as one of the wild card teams this year. The MVP of the league, I still think is going to be Patrick Mahomes this year. You guys, your MVP of the year this year.
Oh, it's Patrick Mahomes.
No problem with that. No problem with
Paul, unanimous.
If Buffalo makes it to the Super Bowl, then you might get the
Josh Allen.
Yeah, true.
He's too. Did you see that bomb he missed when the guy was 10 yards behind last week? It's too many instances like that for that person. I always preference. Yeah, he's playing the Steelers.
Well, the thing I'll say about Buffalo, and a lot of people are high on Buffalo. Boomer Esiason picked them to win the Super Bowl, and I've seen a lot of the so-called experts have picked them to go. But I'll go back and say what I said a few moments ago, and that's this: anytime you either can't run the ball or won't run the ball, you are going to struggle against against good teams. And when it comes to the playoffs, and I think this is what they ran into with Baltimore last year, even though they won that game, and to a more extent with Kansas City last year. When you're one-dimensional, Jay, you said this earlier, it's true. It makes that that much more easy to defeat.
When Freddie Kitchen was our coach, I'd be at the games. How many times first down you see empty backfield? You're like, "Oh, I wonder if they're going to pass it or not." You know, it's first down. You're just making it so much easier when you're making yourself predictable.
And I wonder if Buffalo's doing that. But they did it last year too. But I wonder if they're doing that to try to justify that contract that they gave to Josh Allen. But
look at Kansas City's success. They're not a running team.
True. But they do have the threat of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They will run him.
How many Patrick Mahomes are out there that can do that?
And the weapons that they have. Although Buffalo, they picked up Emmanuel Sanders. They still have Cole Beasley, and they've got Stephon Diggs. So it'll be interesting. Well, listen, fellas, thank you so much. We never even got to college football this year. I think, much as it pains me to say this because I hate Bama, but
they're going to win it.
Alabama's winning it all. I just think that Ohio State still has an outside shot to get there. They're going to have to run the table. Yeah. And to me, their toughest game remaining on the schedule this year is Penn State. Fortunately for them, that game's in Columbus. But they're going to have to run the table. And that defense, with Kerry Combs, although listening to Ryan Day's press conference earlier this week, I wonder how much of a say Kerry Combs is going to have for the rest of the year. But
not much, because he's already up in the booth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's fine, Hiram. So what puzzles me about them, especially last week, watching Oregon run the same play over and over again. No adjustment.
The announcers were trying to talk him into it. The whole game, like, you need to get out of man. This guy's going to beat you up.
Exactly. You got all these 4- and 5-star recruits on defense, and you're getting gashed on the same play all game long. It's ridiculous. So, as we do each week, at the end of each show, we give our hero and our zero of the week. And our hero of this week is James Whitfield. Now, you may be asking, who is James Whitfield? James Whitfield is the principal at the high school in Coffeyville, Texas. And the reason he's our hero of the week this week is that he was suspended indefinitely by the school board there in Coffeyville, Texas, simply because of the fact that he wanted the school system there to teach the whole story of American history. And they accused him, and the parents there accused him of trying to push critical race theory, which he wasn't doing. He was just putting in a curriculum there. And he didn't, let me rephrase that. He didn't even put the curriculum in. He is the principal. He just suggested that the teachers teach the whole story on American history. And because of that, he was placed on administrative leave. So, Mr. Whitfield, you are our hero of the week. Stand strong. Continue to stand for the truth. And you will prevail despite what they're saying and what they're trying to do to you down there in Coffeyville, Texas. And my zero of the week, and it pains me to say this, folks, but those of you that are regular listeners to this show, you know that I'm going to tell the truth. Our zero of the week are the voters of the city of Cleveland. And you asked the question, Jeff, why are they the zero of the week? They're the zero of the week because we have here in the city of Cleveland, you have the mayoral primary this past Tuesday. Mayoral primary, folks, in September, with so much publicity and everything else going on leading up to the primary, and yet only 16.68% of the eligible voters in the city of Cleveland turned out to vote. That is, folks, that is a sin and a shame. That is pathetic. As when you look at the shape that this city is in right now, economically, with housing, with the school system, with all the issues that are going on with gun violence, everything that we've talked about on this show ad nauseum. When we had the candidates on here, we had Dennis Kucinich on a couple weeks ago. When we had Kevin Kelly on back in June, when we had Zach Reed and Justin Bibb on back in May, we made offers to Sandra Williams and Bashir Jones, and they did not come on the show. And you look at all the things that we talked about and all the stuff that's going on within this city, and yet only 16%. That's not even 1 in 5. There's no excuse for this, folks. There's no voter suppression yet in the city of Cleveland. There's the hours have not been cut yet in here. Where you had plenty of time to vote by mail, you had plenty of time to vote early, and only 16.68% of the eligible voters in this city came out and voted. That is a sin and a shame. And shame on you, Cleveland voters. Those of you that sat at home and said, well, my vote don't make any difference, and I don't really know what's going on.
Do not complain about anything else.
Do not complain about your city services or lack thereof. Do not complain. I'm saying all this, so I'm trying to light a fire under you. You need to come out in November for the general election. The two that came out of the primary are Justin Bibb and Kevin Kelly. Study the candidates. Go on that thing that you have on your phone and your computer called the internet. If you don't know about the candidates, learn about them. Spend less time looking up stuff about Beyonce and Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj and all that. Take some time to educate yourself, because the future of the city of Cleveland is in your hands. And oh, by the way, study about issue 24 as well, because you really need to vote yes on that to continue the consent decree that we have, and to get real police reform within this city. So once again, I want to thank my guests. I want to thank Hiram Boyd. I want to thank Always Positive Jay. I want to thank Paul Red for coming in today for our football roundtable. I want to thank all of you that listened to us today on TuneIn and Mixler. Those of you who watched us live on Facebook Live and on YouTube. But right now, I see that my time is up. Thank you very much for your time. And until next Saturday at 4 p.m., Shalom in Yeshua's name.
What's your thought on this? I was having a conversation about being from Cleveland. I live in I moved out there because the city kind of failed us more or less. If you want me back, how about you fix the city? I'm from. Sonicville is such bad shape.
One of the reasons, first of all, I agree with you that the reason why a lot of folks don't know what's going on is that when you're trying to draw that's what they do. Follow the money. So that's what
First, third grade, I watched Cleveland Public School pass me right through, and I was missing close to 80% of days going to school with my mom was throwing at it. So I'm going to school, and then when I'm there, I'm getting in fights with kids and going to principal club. So I literally learned nothing from first to third grade because they were just passing and get me out of there. I'm like, You know, I'm just one. I mean, how many times said that? Thousands on thousands on thousands. And then like, oh, the crime rate's been 7. Give kids the opportunity and confidence in themselves, so they'll do anything. That bridge across by the funeral, that was the biggest waste of money I've ever seen. That's what it was about. Like that little $1 million bridge, so people want to walk 500 feet. Like, how about you just screw the bridge and upgrade a school somewhere else? Like, wow, I feel nice. I get what you're saying too, because
I'm not agreeing with that. I think what you're saying, that's why they do it. Because I think it can be a more time and
I was really annoyed that you told me I didn't have to, like, I wasn't allowed to talk about Cleveland. Like, Cleveland doesn't affect every neighborhood around it. You want, if Cleveland's doing well, the outside neighborhoods are doing well too. So it's like, just because I'm over in the Kansas City, doesn't mean I don't have a right to have an opinion.
I'm closing out real quick.
I'm not gonna love you.
We'd like to thank you for listening to Jeff Doggett and the Right Side here on the station where we don't bring the static, but we sure don't bring the noise on staticradio.net. Make sure you guys check us out on social media where we absolutely love to hear from you on facebook.com/No Static Radio LLC, on Twitter at No Static _ Radio, on Instagram at _No Static Radio, and on YouTube at No Static Radio. Also, if you guys would like to listen to replays of this show and others on NoStaticRadio.net, please make sure you check us out on Mixler.com or Mixcloud.com. Just type in No Static Radio on the toolbar for replays of this show and others. And for continuous streaming, check us out on TuneIn.com as well. Same thing, No Static Radio, all one word. And for all things No Static Radio, including up and coming events, merchandise, and an in-depth look at all our great show hosts here, please check out our website at www.nostaticradio.net. Thank you guys so much for listening on this sensational Saturday, and you know what it is. We have more music for your weekend listening pleasure here on Your Voice of the Revolution, NoStaticRadio.net, powered by Google. Be safe and have a great weekend, you guys.